Hello everyone, welcome to QAWithSJ channel. So in today's session, we'll discuss verification versus validation. So this is one of the confusing topic for the QA test engineers. So what is verification and validation? So at the end of the day, we'll design a product or software product. So in this process, what is the process we are going to do before developing a product? Like reviewing the documents, reviewing the code. So all this comes into the verification. So the validation is once the product is developed, whatever the testing part we perform to ensure that is meets the requirement or not, that is called validation. So this is about the documentation. I would say this is about once the product is developed, the actual testing we do, that is called validation. If you could see here, are we building the product right? So we are building the product right or not? Here, are we building the right product? So that is the main difference. So the main focus here in verification is to review the documents, design, code, requirement and all. Here, review the actual software application. So the main object of the verification is to prevent defects early. So as I said earlier, uh, when a bug found once the application is developed or once it is deployed into the uh, prod environments, then the cost is very high. So when we identify the defects, when we prevent the defects before it developed, then the cost is very low, right? So the verification is to prevent the defects. Validation is to detect the defects in the final products. So this is performed by developers, QA, business analyst, reviewers, and this is also like once the application is developed, right? So QA engineers, testers, and users comes into the picture. So here in verification again, so developers, QA, and everything you have seen it, right? So during the development phase, that is called verification. Once the development is done, that is called validation. So during the development phase, developers write the code. Developers have peer reviews, design document reviews, design document or requirement document analysis. So all these things will comes into the picture where product owner, managers, developers, client, everyone comes into the picture in the verification. Even QA also involved to understand the requirements and all of that. In the validation, mostly QA engineers, testers, and end users and business users will perform the testing. So here in the activities section, so in verification, what we do as a site walkthroughs, peer reviews, inspections, design document, requirement document, so validations, everything done in verification. When it comes to validation, actual testing, like functional testing, integration testing, system testing, you don't worry, these things will be covered in the later video sessions. So here uh, we do actual testing of the application, how it is behaving, whether it meets the requirements or not. Okay, so product status is it does verification does before the product developed, validation after the product is developed. Let's take an example. So here the requirement is user should be able to log in using email and password. Let's suppose this is the requirement. So in verification, what are all comes into the verification, what all comes into validation? So in verification, uh, check the requirements, right? Check the requirement and document analysis just to make sure everyone is on the same page. In validation, once that application is developed, test the actual login functionality, whether it is working or not. And again, during the verification process, they will review the requirement documentation, design documentation, and source code. In validation, once the application is built, they will write positive scenarios and negative scenarios like whether application is working or not with proper correct credentials or invalid credentials, how it behaves, whether user is able to log in successfully or not. So that's what comes into the validation. So this is all about today. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. Thank you.